The thing with all of this, manifesting, choosing your reality, shifting states, it's not so much something that you have to do. It's not another technique that you have to get right. It's not about being more disciplined or more perfect or more spiritually advanced. It's more like a letting go. It's reminding yourself again and again, if you need to, that you don't have to do any of this alone. You don't have to push, you don't have to force, you don't have to perfectly control every thought or emotion, because there's a bigger part of you, a wiser, broader, non-physical part of you that is able and willing to put everything in place for you in ways you never could even begin to imagine at this human level. Call it God, call it your higher self, source, infinite intelligence, all that is. It doesn't matter what name you give it. That part of you already sees the whole picture. It knows everything about you. It knows where you truly want to go, and it already has the perfect plan to create that for you. It knows every step, every person, every conversation, every perfect moment that needs to line up along the way. And it can orchestrate all of it so much more smoothly and easily than you ever could at this human level. So rather than trying to tighten your grip on yourself, rather than trying to micromanage your thoughts all day or beat yourself up for not being perfect, this is really more about softening. It's about being lighter with yourself. It's about remembering that your job is just to choose the state, to choose the inner reality. The how is not your job. The timing is not your job. The details are not your job. That all belongs to the bigger part of you. And the beautiful thing is you can choose again anytime. Whenever you notice that you're dwelling in an unwanted state, maybe you're anxious, maybe you're spiraling into lack, maybe you're feeling rejected or hopeless, you don't have to panic or think you've ruined it all. You don't have to analyze why you fell into that state. You don't have to punish yourself for being human. You can just notice gently, kind of like, oops, I accidentally slipped into a state I don't want to be in. And then you simply go within and choose differently. That's not the state I want to live from. Time to shift into the one I do want. And in that moment, you set everything right again. Because your power is now. Always now. It doesn't matter how long you've been in a state you don't like. It doesn't matter if it's been years or if you keep slipping back into it over and over again. That doesn't disqualify you. You don't lose points. You don't fall behind. There is no scoreboard. It's simply a matter of choosing again, right now, in this moment. And this moment is fresh, untouched. You can choose anything. So let go of all the overthinking, all the complications, all the analyzing, all the how do I fix this? And just go within. Ask yourself gently, how would I like things to be from now on? What do I want to experience moving forwards? Which state do I choose to live from? And then just choose it and live from it. Now, not once everything around you looks how you think it should. Not once you've earned it with perfect discipline. Now, with no conditions attached. This is the state I choose. This is the reality I am now living in. This is what is now unfolding for me. Let yourself live from that knowing. And the more you train yourself to do this, the more you practice gently choosing and returning to your desired state again and again, as many times as you need to, the more you'll start to notice that the world out there reshapes itself to reflect what you're choosing on the inside. But let me go deeper into this with you, because I know that even though this sounds simple, us humans have a funny way of making it extremely complicated in our minds. We think we need to understand why we feel the way we feel. We think we need to trace every unwanted state back to our childhood or to some past trauma or to external conditioning. We think we need to understand why the unwanted thing happened. But in my experience, it's often very difficult, if not impossible, to see why something seemingly unwanted happened while you're still in it. And trying to analyze it while you're in it just keeps you stuck in it even longer. Whereas if you let go of all that and you take your focus completely on where you want to go, what you want to create instead, and just don't pay any more attention to the things you want to leave behind, then as you move forwards on this new path, and as you see the things you want start to show up, then often it starts to become clear in hindsight what a blessing the unwanted past event was. But for me, it's always been afterwards that I'm able to see how and why things happened the way they did. While I was in it, what really served me was to decide to move on, to choose differently. And then the reasons why the seemingly unwanted thing happened and how it benefited me became obvious afterwards. Because I see a lot of people trying to understand why they're in an unwanted situation and trying to understand what caused it and trying to maybe find the positive in it. And because of that, they're not really getting the benefit of the situation, because often the benefit is that it makes you so sick of it that you'll do anything to get out of it. And so if you're trying to find reasons why maybe you're supposed to stay in it, well then you're not actually letting it give you the benefit that it came here to give you. So if I were you, I would drop all the analyzing, drop all the complications, and simply choose what you do want right now and start living from that state. Simple as that. Because you can choose differently without figuring it all out. You can choose differently even if you still feel sad. You can choose differently even if logically you don't know how it could possibly work out. You can choose differently even if your current reality looks nothing like what you want. Because choosing a state isn't about forcing yourself to feel perfect or pretending everything is fine right this second. It's simply about returning to the version of you who knows that you are on the path that you want to be on. The version of you who is safe, loved, guided. The version of you who knows that something higher is working on your behalf. Let me give you an example. Let's say you've been worrying about money. You've been looking at your bank account and thinking, this isn't enough. I don't know how I'm going to make it work. I don't know when it's going to change. That's a state. It's a state of lack, a state of fear, and it feels very real and not very good. Now, in that moment, your human mind will try to solve it. It will want to figure everything out. It will want to make a plan. It will say, okay, maybe I could do this, or if this person pays me back, or if I work extra hours, and it runs around trying to find security. But the truth is, security doesn't come from something out there happening. It comes from the state you're being. And you can choose that state even before anything changes physically. So you take a moment, you close your eyes, you breathe, and you ask yourself, what state do I choose? Maybe you choose abundance. Maybe you choose trust. And that doesn't mean you're suddenly rich. It doesn't mean you've figured everything out. It just means I'm choosing to know that I am taken care of. I'm choosing to know that all the money I need is flowing to me. I'm choosing to trust that everything is working out, even before I see the evidence. That's the whole practice. It's not glamorous. It's not dramatic. It's actually very gentle, very simple. And what happens over time is that you start to stabilize in your chosen state for longer. And then things in the physical world start shifting to reflect it. Opportunities show up. Conversations happen. Money flows in ways you couldn't have planned. Not because you forced it, but because you allowed it. Because your state is always the cause. The physical is just the effect. And I know sometimes it feels like the reverse. It feels like, well, I'll feel abundant once the money comes. Or I'll feel loved once someone finally stays. Or I'll trust life once it gives me a reason to trust it. But that's backwards. That's waiting for the mirror to smile before you smile at the mirror. It doesn't work like that. You have to choose to smile first. You choose the state, and then the mirror reflects it back. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to feel perfect all the time. It doesn't mean you're failing if you feel sad or angry or discouraged. You're human. You're allowed to have emotions. You don't need to suppress them or shame yourself. Choosing a state doesn't mean bypassing your feelings. It means feeling them without losing yourself in them. It means noticing, I'm feeling sad right now. That's okay. I don't need to reject this feeling. But I also don't need to build a whole story around it and continue to dwell there forevermore. You can let the feeling move through you, and the more you allow it to be there and you don't fight it, the more easily it will pass and disappear. Another example, relationships. Imagine someone you really care about hasn't messaged you back, and your mind starts spiraling. What did I do wrong? Are they angry? Do they not care anymore? That is a state of abandonment, of insecurity, of rejection. Now, one option is to just stay in that state. You can check your phone every 5 minutes, feel the tightness in your chest, feel your mind racing, and frantically try to figure out how to fix the situation. Or you can choose differently. You can say, okay, I've fallen into a state I don't want to live from. What do I choose instead? Maybe you choose the state of being loved. Maybe you choose to trust that everything is always working in your favor. And no, that doesn't guarantee they'll text you back immediately, but it does guarantee that whatever needs to happen to bring about your desired outcome will happen. And so doing this brings you back to your power. It puts you in alignment with the reality you actually want. You stop the frantic need to control the facts, you stop creating from fear, and you start allowing things to form themselves in a way that is truly the most ideal for you. And funnily enough, when you do that, the physical world always changes to reflect that. People respond differently to you. Conversations shift. Maybe that specific person comes back. Or maybe they don't, but if they don't, it will be because what truly does match the fulfillment of your desire has shown up in a different way. Either way, the state you choose becomes your reality. Always. No exceptions. Let me make this really clear. None of this is about controlling the outer world. It's always about choosing your inner state. And the outer world has no choice but to match it. This is why it's so important not to wait. Not to say, I'll know that I get to have abundance when the money arrives. Or I'll know that I get to have love when someone loves me. Or I'll know that I get to have peace when everything stops being so chaotic. Because if you wait, you'll stay waiting. The mirror can only reflect what you're being now. You don't become confident by something out there validating you. You become confident by deciding to step onto the path of being someone who gets to be confident. And then the world responds. You don't become successful because one day success randomly finds you. You become successful because you choose to step onto the path of being someone who gets to be successful. And then success has no choice but to show up externally. This isn't arrogance. This isn't pretending. This is alignment. This is remembrance of who you really are at that deeper level. The part of you that isn't afraid, isn't lacking, isn't separate from anything it desires. But still, I know the question comes up. How do I do that? How do I just choose a new state when everything around me says otherwise? And the answer is, it is all just a story that you are buying into. The facts around you are not actually saying anything. They have no intrinsic meaning in themselves. The exact same fact can mean one thing in one person's story and something entirely different in someone else's story. For one person, growing up in a very poor household is the reason they were doomed from the start to a lifetime of poverty. For another person, growing up in a poor household is what spurred them on and created within them this absolute determination to succeed no matter what. And it is what they credit for the wealth that they have now. It is not the facts that matter. It is the story that you are choosing. It's what you're assuming to be true. Switch the meaning, switch the story that you're choosing, and the external world will change accordingly. It's almost crazy that it really does work this way, but I promise you, it really does. And if you take in what I'm saying and apply this, as amazing as it sounds, you will see for yourself how true this is. And the thing is, you don't do it with force. You don't do it by repeating affirmations that you don't believe. You do it by seeing it as if you have two options in front of you, two possible realities, the wanted one and the unwanted one. And you're just choosing which one is going to play out, just as if you were choosing which movie to watch on Netflix. And the thing is, you really do have this ability. You are doing this anyway, whether you're doing it consciously or not. And if you follow what I'm saying, then you might even be able to become conscious of what you've been unconsciously doing. Because when I tell you that you can choose right now, with the facts exactly as they are, that going forward, everything is going to unfold the way you want it to, most probably immediately your mind will go, well, how can that be? I would need to have more money first. Or that person would have to want me first, or whatever it is for you. Can you see how you are taking the current facts and using them against yourself? And that without realizing it, you are deciding that with this set of facts as they are, you can't possibly have the outcome that you want. The one who is writing the story is in no way limited by the current facts. The one who is creating everything can easily change whatever needs to be changed. It can easily place new things onto the path or remove things that are in the way. But that writer is you. And if you are saying that you can't possibly have what you want because of what you've written into the story so far, well, you're the one writing the story, and what you say goes. If you keep declaring that it's not possible to have what you want because of this or that, reality will go, here you go. Here is more absolute and definite confirmation that there's just no way you can ever have what you want. It is always responding to you. And if only you would let yourself get this and stop clinging so tightly to the idea that the current facts matter so much, and just loosen your grip on the current reality and allow yourself to understand that you can simply choose the reality that you want and allow that to get created for you, then life would become so much easier. And the more you do this, the quicker you'll notice when you've fallen out of alignment. You'll become sensitive to how different states feel in your body, and you'll switch gently, naturally, like changing the channel on a TV. And you don't have to be perfect at it. Sometimes you'll remember quickly. Sometimes you'll spend hours or days in an unwanted state before you notice. Both are fine. Both are part of the journey. Because every time you bring yourself back, you're strengthening that muscle. You're training yourself to dwell in the reality you prefer. And please don't make this into another thing to be good at. Please don't turn this into, I need to be more disciplined and never fall out of my state. That's just more control, more pressure, more noise in the mind. This isn't about controlling yourself. It's about freeing yourself. It's about remembering that everything is already working out on a level you can't always see yet. And your job is simply to align with that, to relax into it, to choose the version of you who trusts that there is an infinite power that is orchestrating everything perfectly for you. There is a big difference between controlling and choosing. Controlling says, I need to make everything happen. Choosing says, it's already done. I just need to align with it. Now let's talk about deeper trust for a moment, because at the heart of choosing your state is trust. Trust that there is more to you than your mind, more to reality than what you see. Trust that you truly are supported. Trust doesn't mean you never feel doubt. It doesn't mean you never wobble. It just means that even when you wobble, you come back. You remember, I'm not in this alone. Maybe you're applying for something, a job, a loan, an opportunity, and part of you wants to prepare for rejection so it won't hurt as much if you fail. But what if you prepared for acceptance instead? What if you chose the state of things always work out for me, everything is always working in my favor? What if, instead of bracing for disappointment, you leaned into trust? Here's another example, health. Maybe you've been dealing with an illness or a diagnosis or chronic pain, and it's hard to choose the state of wellness when your body is telling you a different story. I get that. But what if you chose to trust that this is all part of a journey that is leading to the most amazing outcome imaginable? Not as a way of pretending you're not in pain, but as a way of reminding yourself of the deeper truth. That there is an infinite intelligence that is taking care of you, that is able and willing to heal you, and that everything that is happening now is part of the unfolding of that beautiful outcome that you have chosen. Every time you do that, you're aligning with the reality that you want and causing it to be reflected. Now, sometimes people tell me, but what if nothing changes? What if I choose the state every day and nothing happens? And I get it. We're living in a physical world and the facts seem to really matter. But here's the thing. If you're looking for evidence out there that you're now in the new reality, you are missing the point. This needs to be a case of, I am in this reality because this is what I'm choosing. I am going to keep walking forwards along this path because this is what I want. This is my preference, and therefore, why would I choose anything less than my preference? No matter how many obstacles you throw at me, no matter how many things show up that seem to want to derail me, this is what I'm choosing. That is the state you need to be in. I am in charge here. I am choosing where this is going. It's not, if the right things show up, then I'll know that things are working out. It's a state of, I am doing this. This is where I'm going. This is what I'm doing. I am going this way because this is my preference, and I am not accepting anything less than this. And I promise you, when you truly choose and relax into this kind of state, things do change. They can't not change because your state is what creates. But the state comes first. And if you think that nothing's happening because you're looking for physical evidence out there, then you are looking in the wrong place. If you notice yourself looking for confirmation out there, you need to bring yourself back and ask yourself, which reality do I know I'm in? Am I going to let the facts dictate to me that I am doomed to continue to not have what I want? Or do I choose to align with the one that is creating those facts and allow it to bring the things that I want into my life, regardless of what the current facts might look like? So your job isn't to check the physical world every 5 minutes to see if your choice worked. Your job is to stay in your lane, to stay aligned in your preferred reality, and to bring yourself back to it if you notice that you've fallen out of it. Think of it like tuning a radio. The music is already there. The station is already broadcasting. You're not creating the music, you're just aligning your dial with it. And once you do, the music comes through. Clear, effortless. It's exactly the same with your desired reality. It already exists. You just align with it. You choose it now, not later, not once the correct facts show up. Now. And let it be easy. Let it be light. Take the pressure off. Let yourself be human. Let it be okay if you forget. Just let yourself remember again as soon as you notice you forgot. Let it be a dance, not an exam. Because at the end of the day, all of this, manifesting, shifting states, conscious creation. It's not meant to be a test. It's an invitation back to yourself, back to who you really are, beneath the noise. And I want you to know something. You are allowed to live a life that feels good. You're allowed to choose joy, even if you don't understand how it will work out. You're allowed to choose abundance, even if your past says otherwise. You are allowed to choose wholeness, even if parts of you still feel broken. You're allowed to choose whatever it is that you want. Not because you're delusional, not because you're pretending, but because this is your power, this is your birthright. And if choosing feels hard sometimes, just go back to the question. What do I want instead of this? And choose that. That's it. Don't make it complicated. And when you forget, choose again. And when you fall apart, choose again. And if you forget for days or weeks or months, whenever you remember, that's the perfect time to come back. Because it is always now, and now is where your power is. So take a breath and just gently choose. This is who I am now. This is the reality I live in. This is what I know is unfolding for me. And let that be enough. That is all you need to do. And remember, you're not alone in this. The bigger part of you, the wiser part of you, is already moving things. It's already putting things into place for you. You just have to line up with it by choosing your state. And when you do that, you allow the power of infinity to bring you everything you ever wished for in the most amazing and incredible and wonderful ways imaginable. I know it doesn't feel easy at first when you're learning to do this, but if you set the intention and stay on this path, you'll be so glad you did, because it will exceed by far anything you could ever achieve through physical effort. And life will become really and truly magical. Now, before I finish, I just want to quickly remind you that the price of the Up Club is going up soon. So for those who don't know, the Up Club is my membership where I coach you privately, one-to-one, through Zoom meetings if the time zones work, or else through text chat or email coaching if that works better. So if you feel like this is something that you'd like to do, you can find the link with the details in the description. Okay, and with that, that is it from me for today. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.